Okay. Ooh. My name is Freya Moran and I study illustration at UCA. What styles do you like working in? Mixed media is like my jam. Like I love it, and I think that my most exciting pieces come out of mixed media working. I've also recently started doing more digital work on the iPad because I haven't got as much access this year to different facilities like the print studio. In my first year, obviously it hasn't been accessible this year, but in my first year we did a lot of live drawing, which I found really useful, and I think it's super important. I also felt that there was no pressure or expectation from this course to work in a particular medium, like I felt that there were in other courses that I looked at, and Edinburgh very much felt like I could be me and use different media and use textiles and use collage, and it wasn't too overly focused on digital work or animation, which you find in a lot of courses in the UK, from my own experience anyway. Got the impression from Edinburgh that it was very much a course that's what you make of it, you know, it's quite open and they really want you to explore your own practice, which I very much like. I just fell in love with Edinburgh. You know, I knew as soon as I came that that was the place I wanted to be. And I didn't even put any insurance options down because I just thought if I don't get in here, I don't want to go anywhere else. So I put all my eggs in that basket, so to speak, and just hope for the best, and here I am. What do you enjoy doing outside of your uni course? I really love journaling, or like keeping a diary / personal sketchbook, whatever you want to call it. I find it really helps me to express myself through words and images in a way where I can just be completely me. There's no expectation for the work to come out as anything in particular or even to look like anything. It could just be colours, it could just be scribbles, it can just be random words that express how I'm feeling in that moment, and I love it. I've recently started knitting, which I find really exciting. Might not be to everyone else, but I said I was going to learn to knit over Christmas, and I have. And it's also another skill because I use a lot of textiles in my work, so it might be something that I bring into my illustration work in the future, but for now it's just kind of a hobby to keep me occupied. Recent projects that you've enjoyed doing. So one of my more recent university projects that I really enjoyed was a book adaptation project, or a short story adaptation project. We looked at a story called Goodbye Jack by Jack London, and then we were each assigned a piece of text to adapt into double-page spreads for the story. This is something that I used to do a lot in my projects for A-level and Art Foundation, and so I felt like it came really naturally to me. I really enjoy taking a story or a song or a poem and analysing the words, taking particular things from it and then turning it into a single page illustration or a series of illustrations that work together to tell a story. And yeah, it's something that I seem to go back to over and over again, and it never gets old for me. I had a lot of fun with that project, getting really messy, and what we call them textures in illustration, which is basically something that's not a solid colour. So I was just throwing paint at the wall basically in my room in Edinburgh, smearing things, sticking things down, and basically then scanning them all in and then using them as kind of background surfaces, textures in my final work for that adaptation project, and that was really good fun. Who is your inspiration? Oh, there are so many. Jessica Rose Bird. I absolutely love her fashion illustrations. I just think they're absolutely amazing, and the colour is incredible as well, so many bright colours. Other illustrators like Sarah Young, Arthur Rackham and his fairy tale illustrations are just like mesmerising. I absolutely love them. Cass Holmes, she's a textile artist, one of the OG inspirations. There are so many other people in my real life as well that inspire me. Like, I don't know if you can see, but this crochet blanket behind me was, well, crocheted by my Auntie Lynn for me for Christmas, and I just think it's amazing. And my mum, she's a teacher. Her love of creating anything just never dies. She always wants more time to do crafts, wants more time to sew, wants more time to knit, and I just love how much she loves it. And of course all the other amazing illustrators on my course who blow me away with their work every week. I think, oh my god, you've done it again. If you had the ideal viewers, what would you like them to keep in mind when looking at your work? I would say absolutely nothing. For me, art is so completely what you make of it. It's so subjective. I'd like the audience to have a completely open mind and interpret my work as they see fit. Obviously, as an illustrator, I'd like you to know what was going on. I don't mind if you see something completely different in it than I do. What do you enjoy about the art industry and what would you like to see change? I really am enjoying the diversity of creativity and all the different forms it takes coming out of the art world at the moment. I'm constantly finding new artists that I love, new ways of working. I absolutely love how people are telling their own stories through art in so many different ways. I would like to see more appreciation for independent artists and small businesses. Maybe some sort of dedicated platform to be able to share work like this. I wonder what society might be very good at that. Yeah, I don't think people realise how much work actually goes into not only making the artwork itself, but then going on to be your own financial advisor, your own marketing team, your own postman, I don't know, all these little jobs that it takes to sell your own stuff and make it as an artist. What would you like to exhibit and why? What would be your ideal space? Some more of my textile work, like I'd love to do a full textile exhibition, just because it's always been a passion of mine. And I also don't see a lot of illustrators working with textiles, so I feel like that's a bit more of a niche that I fall into. In terms of a space, an exhibition space, I'd love a really open, clean space. It doesn't necessarily need to be white. I mean, coloured walls might be really fun to work with, or even coloured lights, and that would add a completely new dimension to the exhibition in itself. Or I think it would be really interesting to hold an outdoor exhibition. I don't know how practical this would be. You know how Rackham has done all the outdoor catwalks in such amazing places, just like that kind of vibe, but I think that would be really cool. Have you ever exhibited your work before? What do you enjoy about the process? Yes, I have exhibited my work before. Well, we all held an exhibition at the end of our foundation with our final major project, where I exhibited a large collection of textile pieces. This work then went on to be exhibited a second time at Pontiac, which is like an art centre on Anglesey. Although I didn't get to see it up because of lockdown, which is really, really sad. It was great that that went on to a second exhibition, and it might even go on to a third, so watch this space. I've also exhibited a couple of times at a local cafe in my village. They put on exhibitions of young people's work from the island, which I think is such an amazing thing. It's interesting because the work changes often, and it's a really good space to share the work of young artists on the island. With Art Foundation, they basically said, whatever you want to do, we can do it, and I loved that. I just loved that I could make it completely my own and figure out how I wanted it to look, what I wanted the audience to see, where I wanted them to go. It was great, and it felt like such an achievement at the end. This was a sense of accomplishment of all this work that I'd been accumulating for like month after month. Seeing these crowds of people come in and looking at it and just feeling like we'd all achieved something amazing. What do you hope to do in the future? What are your career goals or any future projects you're working on? I'm not really sure. Everyone asks me this question and I really don't know. A lot of the artists I love at the moment are fashion illustrators, so maybe something down that route, or even setting up my own publication, who knows? That's what I love and something I've always loved. I don't think there's any point going down another route that I'm not going to enjoy as much. Maybe even embroidering some of my designs or illustrations onto different garments. That's something that I've been wanting to try for a little bit now, so I might dip my toes into that and see how it goes. As for right now, I'm just starting a new term at uni, so that's going to keep me pretty busy for the time being. I eventually get back to Edinburgh. I hope to start selling some of my work in the form of prints and stuff like that. So watch this space, and hopefully in the next coming months you'll start to see me building a little bit of a business with it, maybe. We'll see. My Instagram is at Freya's_illustration, so please go and have a look at that if you're interested in any of my work. And there will be a potential shop coming soon. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.